Welcome back to the Nick Nice Show. We have a talented guest with us today. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer for artists like Bruno Mars, Lupe, 50 Cent, and more. He's from Lansing, Michigan, but currently resides in the ATL. With us, we have Khari, Cain, a.k.a. Needlz. Welcome to the Nick Nice Show. How are you?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
We have so much to cover, but first, can you tell us about you, where you're from, and how you grew up?
Yeah, I'm from Lansing, Michigan originally. Shoot, man, I grew up in the middle class. You know, family, everybody says it was kind of like the Huxtables, you know what I mean? Parents were both educators, and, you know, my father's passion on the side was music, and he's the one that I kind of caught the bug from him, and, you know, early on, he supported me DJing through high school and stuff, and I started out DJing there, and that was the beginning, and I took that to college, continued there, and then took it further when I went to grad school by starting to produce.
I know you DJed when you were in college. Tell us about that, and when did you really start taking music seriously as far as something you want to do for a career?
Well, yeah, for me, I started DJing maybe the second semester of my freshman year. My parents wanted to make sure I was getting my grades together before I just went down there and went crazy. And I mean, I just threw a lot of house parties. I DJed. I started out at FAMU, first of all. I went to Florida A&M for my first few years. I used to DJ at the basketball games, DJ at the club, all the various clubs in the area. And I think towards my third year at FAM, I knew I wanted to be in music. I didn't necessarily think DJing was going to be what was going to be something that I could sustain, but I just knew that I wanted to be involved with music. And I think I just had a moment in like around my third year where I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just feel like I need to make it to New York, where the type of music I really like was, being produced, and, all the business was there. So I made it a point to get out of school as soon as I could. And for me to do that, I actually transferred schools to Florida State. And, after that, I just kind of skated through Florida State and headed straight to New York to try to make this music stuff work.
So after undergrad, you went out to NYU being interested in becoming an A&R. Why NYU, and how did that help you pursue your career in music?
Yeah, NYU at the time was one of the few schools that had an actual program for music business. And on top of that, it was in the Mecca, it was in New York. So I just felt like that's where I wanted to be. I actually got recruited to play ball there, to play basketball out of high school. That's kind of how I knew about NYU in the first place. But it was like a Division III school, and they only offered partial scholarships, and NYU was just crazy expensive. So it just seemed right. It just seemed like the place I needed to be. They had the curriculum, but while I was at NYU, I was out there in the streets and in the labels, hustling and doing more of that. I was doing my classwork, but for the most part, I would spend the first part of my day just hustling. And I actually just started making beats right prior to going to NYU. So that was kind of the thing I did during the day. And that was it was just a hobby. My goal was to be on the business side, but the production stuff was just a hobby.
So you interned for Bad Boy, and I read that's when you decided to produce music instead of A&Ring. What about that experience caused you to shift your focus and, more importantly, work for yourself?
Yeah, it was just, you get to see the environment. It's a lot of ass kissing, a lot of running stupid errands, and at that point I'm a 22, 23-year-old young man, and I'm really ready to. I'm not really I wasn't for the BS at the time, you know what I mean? Running to McDonald's and doing all this random stuff. I really wanted to just get my career going. Like I said, it was happenstance. They found out that I made music, and they were like, send me some music, and they started shipping it off along with the Hitmen. And some of the stuff, stuck, and I started to make a name for myself. So
now things start taking off, but were there some early lessons or hard knocks that you experienced along the way, and what did you learn from them?
I just think when you're young and not used to dealing with money and really not knowing the nature of the business, you kind of I got my first few checks, and I felt like they were going to keep coming in all the time. So I was throwing Super Bowl parties at the crib, buying big TVs, which was 27-inch TVs at the time, and you know, and then like fast forward a couple months later, I couldn't pay rent, or damn near I couldn't get on the train, you know what I mean? So it's more so like just knowing the peaks and valleys of how the money goes, you know, learning the budget.
I know you've done a lot of hip hop, but you're also interested in doing more pop and other genres. At this point in your career, how would you describe your overall sound and what makes you you as a producer?
That's a good question. It's something that is somewhat of a challenge for me. I feel like I can do so many different things. You know, I've done stuff for, you know, I'll do stuff for like Wayne and, you know, and Drake, then go and do stuff for Bruno, and then do some stuff for like Lonely Island, which is like a straight, you know, comedy record. Then Cain, you know, it's just, I kind of make it a point to have a sound that could be both rap and R&B, and then now in the later part of my career, I've just somehow discovered major chords and happier sounding music. After, you know, the first part of my career was just like straight dark alley music, you know what I mean? But I don't know, towards the end of not end of my career, but, you know, a few years ago, I just decided to do major chords, and it's putting me, you know, it's taking me to another, you know, genre, like the Brunos and who else? The Travis McCoys and the more pop side of things, which is kind of where I want to be, because the checks come in on time and the process is way smoother.
I want to talk to you about some broader topics when we come back. Can you hang around for a bit?
Yep.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Khari, Needlz, Cain after this.
The Nick Knight Show, sponsored by Audi of America. Truth in Engineering.